A Vort from the Rebbe on this week's Parshas Nasso. Parshas Nasso, we learn about the dedication of the Mishkan. Now, one of the things it talks about is that the Nisim, the different Nisim of the different Shvatim, donated altogether 6 wagons. There were 12 Nisim, so each one paid for half, and they gave 6 wagons. What were the wagons used for? So only for those things that had to be carried by wagon. Shevet Chos did not get any wagons because what they carried had to be carried by hand. But there were 2 wagons for the walls of the Mishkan, etc. And as it's explained in the Torah, what the wagons were used for. But the Rebbe asks a shaila. We know Ben Gei the Beis Hamikdash, and the same thing as Ben Gei the Mishkan. It says, Ein ani is makom hashedas. There was nothing in the way of poverty. It's a place of harchove, that everything was done in the best and the richest way. So the question is, why did the Nisim give only 4 wagons for carrying the walls of the Mishkan? That's what it came out, which was exactly, that it fit exactly there, but very tightly. Why wasn't it they would give another wagon and then you could make it more b'harchovish? It could be wider. It doesn't have to be so tight. And the Rebbe answers like this, that the Mishkan was used, every detail of the Mishkan was used for a purpose, for whatever purpose Hashem wanted. There was not one thing that was extra. It says in Sifri, that the Mikdash had everything exactly in its weight, in its space, nothing more than what you needed. Everything was used exactly. So if 4 wagons were enough for carrying the walls of the Mishkan, the boards, if they would have more wagons, there would be some empty space. That means the wagons would not be utilized completely. And that can be. But the Mishkan represents the idea that everything is utilized completely 100%. If you give more wagons, it wouldn't be completely utilized. And that's why you only gave the ones that would be enough for what they need for. And from here the Rebbe says, we learn now the lesson of Avodas Hashem. It says in Gemara, whatever Hashem created in the world, not one thing was in vain, for waste. And b'meila, a person has to know nothing is waste. Everything has to be utilized. B'meila, a person can't say, well, I spend so much time serving Hashem all day. So maybe a certain amount of time, it could go levatollah, it could be in vain, it could be empty. So here we see, no, you have to know everything has to be utilized for Avodas Hashem, whether it's in time or in space. There's no such thing as empty space because it's empty for no reason. It has to be utilized. And that's the reason why they gave exactly enough that the Mishkan and everything else fits on exactly without anything extra, even though it was tight. But if that was enough to fit, they didn't give anything extra to teach us this lesson that we can't have anything wasted, not time and not space and not anything else.